When a young Turkish man tried to kill Pope John Paul II last spring, there was an immediate arrest, a speedy trial, a quick conviction. It all seemed simple. The case was soon closed. Too soon, too simple, says correspondent Marvin Kalb.
The Pope was shot on May 13, 1981, almost killed. The gunman was Mehmet Ali Agca, a young Turk originally thought to be an Islamic conservative fanatic. A 9-month investigation by NBC News has turned up a lot of evidence strongly suggesting that Agca was part of a conspiracy, some sources say, hatched in Eastern Europe.
I believe that there was a plot behind Agca's criminal gesture. A plot hatched in other places, hatched by other brains. The court, however, maintains that Agca was manipulated, trained, directed, helped, and subsidized to kill the Pope.
When Pope John Paul visited Warsaw in June 1979, he resembled a modern-day Beckett, challenging the very legitimacy of Marxist rule in Eastern Europe. He inspired the Polish people into believing that they could form a free trade union movement, Solidarity, because now they had a pope, one of their very own, unafraid of the Russians. Amidst the joy, there were fears the Russians might intervene, but they did not, in part for this reason.
NBC News has learned that in early August, as the crisis escalated, the Pope sent an envoy to the Kremlin whom we are pledged not to identify. He delivered an extraordinary handwritten letter in Russian from the Pope to Soviet leader Brezhnev. It said that though the Pope was the head of a universal church, he was still a Pole and deeply affected by developments in Poland. And if the Russians moved against Poland, he would lay down the crown of St. Peter and return to his homeland to stand shoulder to shoulder with his people. Backed by this implied threat, the envoy then tried to win Soviet approval for creating Solidarity. He shuttled between Moscow and Warsaw and Rome, and finally persuaded the Russians to gamble on coexistence with Solidarity rather than run the risk of an open confrontation with the Pope.
Agca, a known killer, then embarked on an extraordinary secret odyssey, including one key stop in Bulgaria, Russia's closest ally. It was there that Agca got the fake passport he used. He then traveled through 12 countries with apparent ease, hiding among Turkish workers and getting his orders and money and the gun he used from a Turkish smuggling ring that worked intimately with the Bulgarian secret police.
According to Vatican, American, European, and Turkish intelligence, the evidence suggests the possibility that the Russians hatched the plot against the Pope, or at a minimum, knew about the plot and did nothing to stop it, believing in a moment of desperate illusion that without the Pope's unique support, the running rebellion in Poland could soon be contained.
This may be an example of state-sponsored terrorism. Governments adjust to it just to survive. Even the Pope, to a degree, has adjusted to it. He has, as a man of God, forgiven Agca. His closest aides say he wants to forget about the whole thing. But they also say that he cannot forget because deep down, the Pope is described by those in the Vatican who know him best as believing that the Russians were behind Agca's attempt to kill him, and that they may try again. Marvin Kalb, NBC News.
That story is part of an NBC News white paper to be aired next Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The name of it is The Man Who Shot the Pope, A Study in Terrorism. It's produced by Tony Potter and reported by Marvin Kalb. Documentaries on television have been around for a while, but you may have noticed more news on TV at more hours of the day and night in recent years. This explosion, if you will, has been referred to by ABC News' Ted Koppel as the news continuum. Very well. Right after this break, the news continuum.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Reagan speaks on behalf of employer support of the National Guard and Reserves.
There are more than 1 million men and women serving America in the National Guard and the Ready Reserve. They're a vital part of our nation's defense. Duty with the Guard and Reserve is demanding. It requires members to take time off from their regular jobs and takes them away from their families for military training. Therefore, I extend the thanks of the nation to those of you who support the Guard and Reserve. Without the backing of employers and families, we could not maintain these essential volunteer forces. The security of our nation depends on a strong Guard and Reserve. And a strong Guard and Reserve depends on us.
Everyone can support the National Guard and the Reserves. For information on how you can, write Employer Support, Arlington, Virginia, 22209.
Some people think the woods are scary. Not me. What's that? Oh, now that's scary. Camping out with gasoline. I hope they're not going to use it on a charcoal or campfire. It'll explode. And that's another thing. Candles in a tent. That's just asking for trouble. Boy, now this really scares me. Me.
You know, once upon a time, I didn't know what I was trying to find. I was looking around for something new. You'll never guess what I found at the YW. We're a women's team to help you take charge and to face up to problems that have gotten too large. Where we learn, where we serve, where we work and play. That's part of the style of the YWCA. So when you want a challenge to help you through, you'll find the will and the way at the YW.
The fact that Belle Herbert has died in the Alaskan village of Chalkyitsit probably will not make the 6 o'clock news or the front page of the New York Times. But she was Alaska's oldest resident. She was 129 and she was born in that village 14 years before the U.S. bought Alaska from Russia. Ms. Hebert was an Athabascan Indian. Most of what we know about the history of the Athabascan or the Tlingit or the Haida Indians or the Eskimo we know from their legends. What we are learning now, at least about the Eskimo, we are learning by digging. Literally. Todd Hardesty of KTUU reports.
12 flex units. This is Barrow, Alaska, an Eskimo community at the edge of the Arctic Ocean. A community of change, where the old ways of Eskimo life meet the 20th century head-on, and traditions and lifestyles change.
That's solid ice right there.
Archaeologists here unearthed a treasure, a chance discovery of the remains of an Eskimo family frozen in time, when winds and tides pushed a slab of ice over this bluff and crushed them in their sleep 250 years ago. Their sod and driftwood home was frozen in the earth, providing a rare glimpse of Eskimo life before contact with Western civilization. Time did little to change the bodies of two women. Autopsies showed they had some of the ailments of modern day, including soot in their lungs, an effect of the continuous burning of a seal oil lamp in their confined living quarters. Coal miners suffer a similar disease. One woman had hardening of the arteries, and both had a disease which weakens the bones, a disease common among Eskimos of today.
And these are carved ivory.
Unearthed from the site, traditional Eskimo clothing and hunting tools, 3 pairs of mukluks, a pair of polar bear skin trousers, pieces of bows and arrows and spears. Archaeologists here will continue to work until the winter, revealing frozen secrets of an Eskimo life before the white man came. Todd Hardesty reporting for NBC News.
The year was 1938. The Queen Elizabeth was launched. Flatfoot Floogie with a Floy Floy topped the popular song charts, and Howard Hughes flew around the world in record time, 3 days, 19 hours, and 17 minutes. Hughes, the Flatfoot Floogie, and the Queen Elizabeth are all out of business. But another act that premiered in 1938 is not out of business. Chris Scarborough of KVOA in Tucson tells why we care.
Les saluda Carmen Celia Beltrán con otro programa dedicado a la música mexicana.
Carmen Celia Beltran is best known as a poetess, but she's been active in Spanish-speaking radio in Tucson since 1938, when she worked for KVOA Radio. Since October, the 77-year-old Beltran has been doing a radio show at KUAT, part of its Radio Universidad series. Hers is a show for people who like the music of Mexico, the old songs.
¿Qué enamorado no busca la soledad y habla con el río y con la luna cuando está soñando en el objeto de su amor? Rosa María. Pregúntale a las estrellas si no de noche me ven llorar. Well, there are a lot of people not very satisfied with the modern music. We old-timers don't understand it, don't feel it. It's not very inspiring, and the lyrics are a little insulting at times, and they don't like to hear that, so they want some old-fashioned, old type, what we used to hear 50 years ago or before.
Del mundo, si no es profundo mi padecer.
Y para despedirnos, les diremos lo que Tucson ofrece. Amaneceres tibios y enervantes.
Beltran is reading one of her poems about Tucson's beauty. It's hard to believe that she came to Tucson for her health. She had bronchitis so bad she could barely speak. But it has been her words in English and Spanish that have made such a difference in her life and have touched the lives of others. Chris Scarborough for NBC News.
It's a grand opening. Pepper's Waterbeds is celebrating the grand opening of 4 new stores with incredible savings on waterbeds and bedroom furniture at all 19 Pepper's showrooms.
Secret Service agent Tim McCarthy of Chicago was nearly killed last year protecting President Reagan from an assassin's bullet.
We're lucky our son Tim is alive. But people protecting us need more than luck. Our Chicago police officers, like Tim's father, need the protection of safety vests on the job. Please help protect our police.
To make your tax-deductible donation to Citizens for Safety Vests, dial SAVACOP, S-A-V-A-C-O-P.
Now's the time to order your new garage from Steel & Lober and save up to 25% through September 30th. If you act now, they're including a pre-finished fascia, soffit, and siding, plus a 36-inch steel door and deadbolt lock for added safety at no extra cost. If you have an old overhead door, replace it with a pre-finished steel door at a special introductory price. Call Steel & Lober today for their competitive on-site estimate, 641-2222. That's 641-2222.
The beat of Paris with Rodier. Voila, Rodier in a riot of colors. Rodier, you know the look. Youthful, dynamic, and nothing short of magnifique.
In case you missed them, here are tonight's top stories, once over nightly. The shaky Mideast situation got shakier Tuesday with the death of Lebanese President-elect Bashir Gemayel, killed by a bomb that went off at his party's headquarters in East Beirut. The nuclear freeze referendum was passing 3-1 in Wisconsin. The case of Utah and Nevada residents suing for damages because of fallout from nuclear tests opened in Salt Lake City. And Princess Grace of Monaco, Grace Kelly, died of injuries suffered in a car crash. Originally, her injuries were reported to be relatively minor. Tuesday, the situation worsened. Princess Grace had developed a cerebral hemorrhage. It was the cause of her death.
Here are some more items. Novelist, poet, and critic John Gardner was killed in a motorcycle crash Tuesday. He was 49 years old. Lester Hemingway shot himself on Tuesday. His widow said he was depressed because of problems with diabetes. Years before, his brother Ernest shot himself, as did their father. United Press International has a new boss. He is William J. Small. Small was with CBS News for 17 years and was president of NBC News once. UPI is the second biggest news agency after Associated Press, and it has been losing money for 10 years. At any given moment, there are more than 2,000 thunderstorms brewing in the Earth's atmosphere. Some of them boiled over on Tuesday. 2 people died as a result of storms in Missouri. For Wednesday, more storms predicted over the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes region, the Atlantic coast, and the Gulf Coast. Snow showers in the highest of mountains, temperatures from the 40s in Montana to the 90s in the Southwest.
Grace Kelly made movies for 5 years, 11 films, an Academy Award, but that doesn't explain her continuing hold upon the public. Perhaps it was the memory of the combination of female fire and aristocratic ice in her films that one of her directors, Alfred Hitchcock, described as sexual elegance. Or perhaps it was the fact that at age 27 she retired, at her peak, to a reality beyond any film fantasy, to marry a prince, Rainier of Monaco. Or possibly it was both that, in fact, her life surpassed any scriptwriter's imagination. Tuesday, that life ended. Princess Grace Kelly, dead at 52.
I've never had a crazier one.
Just as long as you're satisfied.
I'll come out. Let her go. As soon as you walk through that door. Come on, I'll hold my fire.
Frank been married?
10 years.
Where'd you meet, the show?
Oh, now look, Mr. Dodd, don't you think
I'm
that's
just trying to find out if you were ever an actress.
Oh, no, not me, thank you. I'm just a girl from the country. The theater and the people in it have always been a complete mystery to me.
The award for the best performance by an actress. Grace Kelly for The Country Girl.
The thrill of this moment keeps me from saying what I really feel. I can only say thank you with all my heart to all who made this possible for me. Thank you.
We met when I was attending the Cannes Film Festival. And the Prince, I was asked to go to Monaco to meet the Prince of Monaco. And he was very charming. We had a nice visit and pleasant chat. And he was asking me about the United States, that he had never been to America, and he was eager to know it a bit. And then when he finally did come to America, I saw him then, and it just sort of happened very quickly.
Romantics the world over thrilled at the storybook wedding ceremony that tied the nuptial knot of two famous lovers that the world had adopted as its own. As the young couple drove through the cheering streets, the royal yacht, the Deo Juvanti, waited for them in the tiny harbor. As they sailed off into the Mediterranean, the world wished them bon voyage and the happiest of honeymoons. The loyal subjects shouted gleefully, "Long live the prince and his beautiful princess."
My children have always been the most important part. And their problems, their worries, their future, this, I would say, is my major concern, certainly.
Her Serene Highness, Princess Grace of Monaco.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice to be back. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice to be back.
But to give to you and to give to me, love
Princess Grace, it turns out, was the world's most titled woman. She was twice a princess, 26 times a duchess, 111 times a ladyship, a grand total of 139 titles. It was fitting, for she, as much as any latter-day star, captured what Theda Bara, no slouch in her own day, said was the essence of stardom, preserving the grand illusion, making it seem that what was on the screen was the way it really was. In Grace's case, it went beyond that, for what was on the screen became what it really was. Those gorgeous Riviera exteriors with Cary Grant and To Catch a Thief became an almost unreal Riviera life with Prince Rainier. Unreal to us, but not to her. She said it was no fairy tale. It was responsibility, raising a family, hard work, and that she did it well. Well enough to satisfy her own needs? Who knows? But certainly well enough to satisfy ours. Of that, there is no doubt, and because of that, we will miss her.
Princess Grace's father was also an outstanding man, and when he died, in his will, he cut out the husbands of his daughters because he said they did okay. The last thing in his will said, whatever's on the other side of the curtain, I go unafraid, and if you must know, a little curious, and he signed it in green ink. And so it goes. See you tomorrow night on Overnight.
Pope John Paul II, a terrorist hitman, both had an appointment with destiny in St. Peter's Square. It reads like a spy thriller, but it's all true. The assassin is behind bars. The powers behind him are free to strike again. The Man Who Shot the Pope, a study in terrorism, September 21st.
Now, I know you've heard of R.L. Duke's Oldsmobile. Well, called him the deal maker, cause man, his deals are tough to beat. That's how he's earned a reputation as the deal maker. He's got the right wheel for your type of feel, so pick your style and smile. Look at here, he's gonna make you a deal that you can't refuse. When you deal with R.L., you know you sure can't lose. That's R.L. Duke's Oldsmobile at the Dan Ryan Expressway and 78th Street in Chicago.
Your rooms look twice the size with creative mirrors. Cramped, unattractive areas instantly become spacious, beautiful interiors. In an era of mass production and lookalikes, Creative Mirror Designs takes pride in manufacturing unique mirrors to suit your decor and pocketbook. Buy direct and save 35%. Give your home an exciting new look. Call for our television spectacular. 3 mirrored arches, only $119 installed. For free color brochure, call now, 281-5500. See the dramatic difference mirrors make.
Fantasy, a dream of a show. Tomorrow at 2:30.